All right, guys. So yesterday we talked numbers. We talked numbers. You got to know your numbers. And just real quick to touch on that, where a big mistake happens is if your target is 500,000 for your business, you're not trying to do, $40,000 across for every month. You need to know what months go up and what months are a little bit flatter. And yes, the flatter months. I was told June's a bad month. June, you can't make money in martial arts. That's what I was told. Well, when you're told something enough, when you're hitting this in your head enough, guess what tends to happen? You believe it, right? Because you've heard it from people that you respected. They're like, you heard the martial arts gurus say, well, June's a bad month, December's a bad month. So what happens is you believe it because they've told it, you trust them. Where a real leader does is you hear this content and this information and you say, you know what? Let me test it. Let me see. Why is June a bad month? And so what we did is we took June and we're like, I'm like, all right, they say June's a bad month, and I'm gonna make it my best month outside of a holiday sale. And June actually was my best month outside of holiday sale. Actually, Cameron, the school that he ran, we never had a month of June, less than six figures. That was with roughly about 200 students. We do 100 to 150K in June. And people are like, it's a bad month. And I'm like, oh, watch this. So you don't want to just have flat, oh, I'm going to do 600K, 50K a month. Boom. It's not reality. Okay. And so you predict the seasons, and then you, instead of predicting, you control them. You control the narrative. So how November, right now, everybody should be thinking November, hockey stick month, hockey stick month. How do I take November? How do I take November and have a six-figure November? It starts in August. It starts in September. It starts in October. It doesn't start in November. So you should have your dates for your holiday sale. On September 20th, we're doing a virtual call. It'll be 2-3 hours. I'm going to go step by step on how to do a six-figure month. All right. So that means, by the way, the cool thing about this is people that I've taught that ran the system, Travis being a great example, right? Where the location with Crystal is, I don't know the exact number, but 200K roughly in that location. And Travis was gone. He was in this town for, I don't know, 7 days roughly. He was gone, right? Having time away, and the business flourished. That's a business, guys. There's a chain of schools in Houston, Texas. They have, I think, 3 locations, and they were successful. They were doing, a little less than $2 million a year. And then I taught them this process, and that put them over that hump. So like, this is a system you can learn, you can execute, you can do big numbers. Okay. So that being said, that was yesterday's call. You should know exactly how to predict your numbers. How do I get $1 million location? How many students do I need? Everyone should have this number. If you're going to do $1 million in revenue, you need 250 members. All right. Today, we're going to talk about programs. What programs do you need inside your business to make sure that you have a great product? Because if you have a great product that serves the customer and you go all in on how much you care about passion and impact and purpose, and you design the program properly, the money will flow. When you focus on money first, okay, you have to have a target, you have to have a goal, but when you focus on, well, I just need to make money here, I need to make money here, then you don't have a system, you don't have a program, you don't have something that's stable. So you need to think about what you need. All right, so in a martial arts school, here's what you need. You need a trial, you need your core, you need your electives. Okay, so you need 3 levels. Now, each one of these 3 levels can have multiple ways you do it. Your trial can be a 6-week, 6-day, 6-month. Okay, it could be 1 day. Your core program could be taking someone all the way to your black belt. It doesn't have to be that. It could be a beginner level program. Okay, and your electives would be your things that you have to have your core first. You have to like get your base education. Then you could stack on your competition, your yoga, or like your fitness program. But those aren't your mainstays. These are your elective programs that are built around your core. So if you think about just education in general, right? If we think about post-secondary programs, colleges, universities, trade schools, they have you come in thinking that you already have a base level of education. You basically know how to be a student. Okay, you graduate high school or something to equivalent. And so now they have that assumption. You have some base level. And so now you choose your path of education. They give you some general studies, their core, and then you would choose your path of your education. So you kind of want to make that same baseline in your program, except obviously the difference is here. This is not a requirement. People don't have to have education in martial arts. And so we have to understand that their first thing in the door, that trial, is important. And so a mistake that I heard several people make over the years, and honestly, I took the same path and mentally, I'm like, this makes more sense, is you have to think about what is the most powerful words you can sell in martial arts. Like, what do you have that's the most powerful words that you can sell in martial arts? Well, most people Most people that come into most, not all, most people that come into martial arts, they've had enough pain in their life, or they're the parent, they've had enough pain with their kid in their life, right? And they're coming in to solve a problem, focus, discipline, structure, belonging. And if you look at kids in the martial arts, it attracts a lot of kids who are, I will consider the outliers. They're not the ones who are going to play football or basketball or baseball. They're the kids that typically are, that's not their endeavor. They're focused on the more the arts type people, right? These are people that would go into theater or band or dance or something like that. This is the kind of people we attract. Couple of calls ago, we talked about the perfect customer. How detailed can you be with the perfect customer? Okay. So that being said, if you have powerful words that you can sell in martial arts, which would be the life skills type you teach, right? The problem solving. Black belt is considered to be the almighty. You can't see it over here, but in the corner, I have my original black belt from 1992. What year is this? That's what, 32 years ago. It's my original black belt over there from 32 years ago. Okay. Is that right? Is that the math? Oh my God. Good Lord. All right. It's a long time ago. Lexus don't even know what 32 years looks like. It's a long time ago. Okay. So black belt is not the end all. And most of you guys are probably miseducated in the fact that black belt actually is the first belt in martial arts. We created the yellow, the orange, the purple, the greens, the browns, and all these other colorful belts, rainbow belts, all the belts you want. We created them as a marketing technique to actually show people where they are, because progress equals happiness. Progress equals happiness. And if people are happy, they stay. When they stay, they pay. Right? Now you have a business. Otherwise, if we didn't do it as a business, we probably would never give anybody a belt except white belt, maybe, but just hold their pants up and then wait till they get to the black belt, old school way. So all these other belts are manufactured to show people progress, because people need to see, not because even though they should feel the progress, like stretching, we talked about yesterday. The reason why you guys don't stretch is because you don't feel it. But the reason why you'll go pump these up is because you see it, right? Seeing is believing. So those belts are a way of seeing. So you do not want to create your core program as your first program and get away with your trial. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get rid of your trial and take your core program. A lot of you guys call it black belt club, black belt training, right? You have some term to that because it's the focus. You're brainwashing them in a positive way of where they're going. That's your core program. You don't want to get rid of your trial, because if you get rid of your trial, your core program became your trial. Because most of you guys, your black belt course, like I'm not sure of you guys, but some of you guys probably have black belts that take 4 years to get there, 5 years. Like my average student got there in 4.5 years. If you guys have 18-month black belt courses where people get a black belt in 18 months, maybe that's a deal, right? That wasn't what I had. I'm not knocking that. That's not that wasn't our product. So if it took 4 years to get black belt, well, why would I want to make that my core all of a sudden the first program? Because no people are making a 4-year commitment on day one. When people go to 4-year college, they make the commitment to a 4-year college because they've already had 12 years of education, 13 years of education. So they already know what education is. So you want your trial to make sure that the whole goal is to make it an easy ticket, a low ticket offer to convert to a high ticket. Okay, your high ticket could be your core, it could be your elective, but those are the programs, those are the funnels you want. So you want a trial, you want your core, and then you want your electives. And you don't need 15 electives. You can have one, you can have two, you can have none. But when you get to electives, that's when you make lots of money. Okay, electives create high ticket opportunities. So I'm going to go through real fast. And so like I said, my goal is to get your brain thinking about your program right now. Do you have a good trial? Is your trial 1 week? Is it 1 month? Is it 6 months? Your core program, is it really a core program, or have you bastardized it because you're afraid to try to sell what your core program needs to be? Right? And then your electives, are you very clear about when they launch? Or are they matter of fact and random and you just kind of guess at it? Okay, so I would encourage each of these programs, once you have what they are, what timeline you want, I would encourage you to think about how you sell them secondary. Forget costs at the beginning. Build out. Do I want to have people try my program out for 30 days and build value and then try to upgrade them to my core program? Do I want a 6-month trial? Do I want a 12-month trial? Trials can be as long as you need. Trial just means they haven't put a ring on it yet. They're kind of dating you. They're trying it out. Okay. And so or do you want to do a 1 week or 6? Like, you've got to figure that out. Then you can figure out pricing. So pricing should be secondary, figuring that out compared to length of time and what it is, right? What comes with it? What is it? How does it execute? Is it in my normal class? Is it completely separate? Like those are things you got to figure out. What is your core? And then what electives do you actually want to represent in your program? Okay. Now, once you have those, I'm going to fast forward to some of these electives because two things I want to talk about today is one's called the second sell. Hopefully everybody's heard that word before. What is the second sell? The second sell is as soon as you buy product A, while you're paying for product A, you're pitched to add on the next thing. Now, where does this happen? Does anybody here shop online? Anybody here shop online? When you shop online, you're matter of fact, we're talking about a company. We were talking about a company today, a supplement company that I got their product right over there. After you've checked out and paid, it says, "Hey, would you like to add on this? Because this goes with what you bought. It's only $19.99." And you have to hit yes or no. You've already paid. You've already checked out. And it says, "Hey, we can add this on." Guess what that is called? It's called the second sell. And it's proven fact that more times than not, people hit the yes button. So it happens digitally. Where does it happen in person? Go to a store. You go buy a piece of electronic equipment. You buy any, and it's weird. You buy a $19.99 toaster. Like who buys a $20 toaster? You guys know what happens when you go check it out? It puts on the screen, the person asks you a question. They say, "Hey, would you like to buy the warranty?" It's a $20 toaster. I don't want no damn warranty for that. But they ask. And a lot of people, depending on the ticket and the value and the cost, they say yes. That's a second sell. Most of you guys probably don't have a second sell inside your business. You haven't thought about it that way. You haven't really got something set up that way. You haven't really let your brain process that. So that's something I want to touch on today. And then I'm going to talk about electives. So electives would be a competition team, a demonstration team. It could be, well, actually, I'm going to cover 3 of these today. It could be private lessons. That's the one I'm going to first start with. Okay, so private lessons is an elective program. Most of you guys are doing those improperly. We're going to talk about that this weekend. One, you should not do 1 hour long private lessons. A private lesson should not be a class. Private lessons is designed to be very targeted, specific to the measure of what that person wants to. It should be a material that they need extra time with, above and beyond help with, or more than likely it's because they are one of your high performance students who need to save time. They need to condense time down. They are a part of another elective program and they need support. They want to learn curriculum but beyond what you have. And so it's not a warm up and a bunch of curriculum. It is, hey, this person's getting ready for competition. They're wanting to compete with sword and they don't do that in their class plan right now. And they're getting ready for this big event and you're working specifically on a routine or pattern or kata for that. Hey, they're entering into a kickboxing match and they want to be a professional fighter one day. And so they're working with you on that. So it's not designed to be the class. It's a supplement. It's above and beyond. And so how do you price that? So if these are 30-minute lessons, I need to make sure if I'm the main guy teaching, whoever that main person is, and you're working with these people, right? It's time is value, time is money. I don't want to do an hour, I want 30-minute lessons. Well, I'll teach you how to structure this so you actually are effective and you can charge right. But you don't want to do a one-off lesson. You need the value to the one-off lesson. So right now, how would I determine value? Okay. Right now, across the United States of America, somewhere around an average, I can give you a couple different markets that would be less and more, but you need to have a target of about $300 per member per month as a value you need to pull in. So if they paid me $4,000 for the year up front, that's giving me that value, right? So imagine this on your classroom floor right now. Does everybody know the number of students that would be 10-year-old kids that you could have and still have a great class? Is it 10 kids? Is it 20 kids? Okay. So for example, if I have 20 kids on the classroom floor, and that's, let's say, my max. Some of you guys could have more, some of you get less. All right. And that class, they come 8 times a week. Okay. So I do the math. This is how much that class. I take, all right, I got 20 kids. Those 20 kids represent $300, that's $6,000. There's 8 hours of classes. That hour, I'm making $750. So if I'm going to do a private lesson for 30 minutes, that 30-minute lesson has a value because it's the same energy, same time, but now it's one person, not the 20, would have a $375 value. That's the value of a 30-minute session with you. Who in here charges $375 for 30 minutes? Nobody. Nobody. But that is the value. Guess what? They don't know the value unless you what? Tell them. And so that's now, by the way, anybody here could do 30 kids on the floor? 30 kids on the floor? Okay. My school, we had 60 kids on the floor at one time. So 30 kids on the floor. Five was 11.25 per hour divided by 2. 562 would be that 30-minute session. $562 for a 30-minute session. Like, I know you don't charge that, but no one knows the value unless you tell them. So you need to know the value, because you're undervaluing, because you're thinking, well, it's only 30 minutes. It's only this kid. I'll charge $30, $75. You might charge that, but there needs to be a value associated with it. I don't want to do a one lesson. You cannot make an improvement with that one lesson. You want to sell these in 4-packs or 8-packs, or I'd prefer to sell 1 year at a time, because you have a limited amount of opportunity to actually work with people. So if your schedule is Monday through Thursday, you're off on Fridays, and you have Saturday full day, or maybe you're Monday through Saturday, and you have maybe 1 or 2 sessions a day, you're allowed to have this. So let's say you have 8 sessions. Guess what happens? Everybody's heard of supply and demand. When you have 8 sessions only, are you more valuable or less valuable when you have 200 students? More valuable. So if you have 8 opportunities per week max for 30-minute lessons, 8 students out of 200 members, that's 4% of your student body who are even allowed, who even could purchase this. Why would I free up that time and not get it pre-sold? And so if I was going to pre-sell those 8 spots, and the value is, let's just go with the lower number, $375, right? And they do 1 a week for 48 weeks, because you're close some of that time. $375 times 48 weeks, that's $18,000. That would be the value. And I would sell it for $18,000, $12,000, $10,000. I sold it at $10,000 is what I sold it for. Okay. And I had 10 spots, and I would pre-sell all of them in 1 day. I'd bring in 100K in 1 day. I always did it in first day of November for the next year. And they would pre-buy. Okay. What if you guys were so good that you have 8 spots or 10 spots, and you knew every November 1st, 100K, 100K, 100K. You pay your taxes, you start your next location, you get married, you buy your kids college education, whatever. That's per location. What if you had 10 locations and you made $1 million in 1 day? But you can't do that unless you stack a trial, a core, then you have your electives, and you create the value. But you guys aren't doing 100K at 1 day, because in your mind, it's not that you don't put a value to that, because you think it's just 30 minutes of time. Okay. So this is one of those second sells when you put someone on one of your normal elective programs that you have an offer for them. And maybe you take the same thing. Okay. Maybe you go a 4-pack, and that 4-pack has a value of $1,200, and you sell for $400. And then you have to make sure you create value in that person. You improve their martial arts ability. Okay. I'm going to go in detail on that this weekend, but I'm going to shift gears here. I want to go into the semi-private program. Now, in my martial arts school right now, currently, we will not teach adults. Okay. I think a lot of you guys need to get away from teaching adults, or some of you guys should only teach adults, depending on your marketplace. Now, here's my reasoning why. If I am 24 years old and I've been hired to teach martial arts at a school, and we have classes from 3 years old to 60-year-olds, do I have the maturity and the experience teaching to teach the 3-year-old, the 14-year-old, the 7-year-old, and the 39-year-old, all different personnel? I have to evolve to them. I have to shift to them. I'm probably not going to be great at all of those. I probably enjoy teaching older kids and more disciplined kids because it's easier, duh. And I probably dread teaching the 3-year-olds. I probably dread teaching some of these other classes over here. And so if you get really niche down to what you're really great at, you're going to recognize that who's spending the most money, who's your perfect customer. And your adult students typically are just family members. That's fine. And a lot of times they're on some discounted program. And then here's the next problem is I'm 24 years old. I'm a single man. I'm teaching martial arts, thinking I'm really cool, making a little bit of decent money. Oh, and by the way, now I have to teach till 10 o'clock at night. And like, I can't, like, what's my life? Eventually I find a girl, I want to get married, and we want to have kids. She's like, oh, you got to get home. You can't be out till 10 o'clock every night. And then I quit and have to go get the normal job and don't do what I love to do. So like, that's a problem. And so how would I implement adults better? Or Or, because I'm gonna give you a way of doing this, because this is what I am doing, or how would I add this to what I already have? Okay. So you need to make sure that with your current customers, your students, your current customers, you need to find a way to give more value so then they can pay you more money and pay you more often. That's called business. Okay. Your goal is to get them to pay you more often and more money. So what I would do with an adult program, or if I have a great martial arts school already and I needed to take opportunity to create more value, more structure, I would implement a semi-private program. What is semi-private? And I've done this a lot of times, and this is exactly how I'm going to run adults in a school that's not going to have adults. You put 4 people in a semi-private. It's not a class. It's like a private lesson. Now, this one would be 45 minutes to an hour. This will be 3 times a week they come. They do not come 1 time a week. They're going to come 3 times a week. And so basically what you do is you're creating these microcosms inside your school. And it's very, very select, and it is an elective program, so to speak. But for example, an adult market that can't come at 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, but I have a lunch hour every day. And it would be like doing an executive class, but instead of that, I'm going to be very target, very niche of who I go after. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sell these in 16-week blocks. And so I'm not gonna market to the outside world. I'm gonna teach you how to actually execute this. So this would be a very, almost like Fight Club in a sense, right? It's very like, the whole goal is you're gonna grow this grassroots through testimonials and through keeping it very kind of, almost exclusive. It's very inclusive of those 4 people in a sense, but exclusive in the fact that we're not marketing to everybody. And you're going to create a 16-week, almost if you want to think about this as a boot camp, where I'm going to take them from A, and at the end of the 16 weeks, I need to have an accelerated program. If they're coming 3 times a week to you, and they're getting very disciplined, very structured, very direct training, this is not just fitness. This is not just let me go through classes. I got 16 weeks to give somebody what they typically would do in a year. I'm trying to take a year's worth of information to give them in 16 weeks because I only have 4 people, me versus 4 compared to me versus 20 that come twice a week. They're coming 3 times a week, very specialized training. Direct, all right, very intentional. And you want to price this you're going to charge weekly instead of monthly. You're going to charge weekly. You want to price it somewhere around $140 to $200 a week. Okay, somewhere between about $140 and $200 a week. So when you do the math, let's go a little level, 150. Okay, someone's paying you roughly, if you do that math, $150. Okay, they're paying you somewhere around $600 on a monthly level times 4. Okay. That is not equal to what a full year should be, but 16 weeks, 4 months, they need to get a year's worth of information, condensed down, very direct. Whether you graduate them to, 2 belt levels above, if they're going from white to whatever your second and third belt is, or if you're trying to accelerate them so they do test a certain level. Now, these are for people that probably won't come to your next class. They probably are not coming to normal class. Maybe they're parents of the kids in the class, and they can't come at night, but they want to be part of the training. And you offer this at, could be 6 in the morning, could be 12 at noon, right? I'm not taking away from my normal floor space, but I'm adding value to my program. So what if, theorize with me, what if you only did 2 of these programs each time? I have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe, and a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or maybe I do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have 2 back to back, and I just do an hour with 4 people, and I do another hour with 4 people. That's it. So it's going to take me 6 hours a week. So if we do the math, okay, and I charge the 150 times 16 weeks, that's $2,400 times 8 people, $19,200. I'm going to invest 16 weeks times 6 hours a week, 96 hours. Yeah, I'm making $300 an hour doing that. Okay. It's not $300. It's not the high ticket value of the private lesson. But who would like to make an extra $20,000 over 16 weeks for teaching 8 people high value product? And by the way, for you guys who like teaching, you're teaching adults that really are there, they're investing $600 a month with you. See, what sounds better? $140 a week, right? For personalized training, or $600 a month. $600 a month seems like a big pill to swallow. $140 a week is not so bad. It's easier to hear. $150 a week, $160. For me, it's going to be $199 a week is what we're charging. $199 a week. right? And it's a launch into this. It's an elective program. This doesn't replace anything. This adds or stacks. And so I can choose if I'm a business owner and I'm like, man, I need to buy my son a new car. I don't want to put on my credit card. Okay, how do I raise $19,000 to buy a car? Because you can't buy a car for under 20 grand nowadays. Not really. Okay, my son's car cost me $16,000 and it has 100,000 miles on it. It has 100,000 miles on it. Like, my first car was $4,000 back in the day. Okay, um, so how would I raise or create the value? So that's a semi-private. You can do this with kids too, but I'm just giving you a value of context of how you do this. Now, here's how you launch the program. You guys better take notes. Here's how you launch the program. Remember, it's like Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club, remember? Okay. So the first thing I would do is I would take your current student body. If you're going to do this, I'm going to tell you how to execute. Listen, information is free. Execution is what you pay for. And a lot of you guys will take this idea and think it's cool and you just won't do it, or you'll do it one time, it doesn't work because you don't do it right. So exactly how I would do this is I would take my top customer base people that have mom or dad in the program that really or want to be in the program. They, for whatever reason, I already know their excuse. They can't make an 8 o'clock class. They got kids. They could possibly make a 6 a.m. or 12. Okay. And so I'm going to try to target about 20 people. My goal is to get 4 to start this program. I'm going to target 20. And before I talk to them, I'm going to create literally, you guys know what an NDA is, called a non-disclosure agreement. I'm going to create an agreement. I'm going to say, hey, Crystal, listen, I have the program I really want to talk to you about. However, it's top secret. And before I can even talk to you about this program, I have a document I need you to sign. I'm going to send it to you right now. Okay. It's called a non-disclosure agreement. So imagine right now, let's play this out. You don't know what it actually is. And the instructor of the school comes to you and talks to you and says that. Who would be curious about what the heck? Right? Even if you don't sign the agreement, you're at least going to read it. Okay. And if you need help creating one of these, I can help with that. So what you do is you get them to sign, you're going to sit there, you're going to talk to them, you're going to explain to them exactly the process. That, hey, this is a semi-private class. We're no more than 4 people in this program. The goal is to take you from a beginner level to intermediate level in 16 weeks to jumpstart. We're going to focus on weekly check-ins. We're going to make sure that you learn this much curriculum. Here's the process. Here's what you're going to finish up with. We have guaranteed results. This is what we're going to launch. And by the way, you're going to be our first program into this. In exchange for that, we're charging $1.99 a week for this, right? In exchange for that, we're going to give you a 50% reduction in value if you say yes to doing this program. All right, so the total cost is $3,000. If you go and do it right now, it's $1,500. Now I'm going to get them to pay me in full for the 16 weeks. So 4 people, let's say you charge the $1,000 for paid in full. I'm going to create $4,000 in revenue right now. And then part of the deal is, when they sign it, is they will give me, we're going to do basically a check-in at the very beginning where they are their skill sets, like a pre-test in a sense. They're going to give me accountability check-ins every couple of weeks, and I'm going to ask specific questions. So I'm capturing data, and I'm capturing pictures, and I'm capturing marketing material, which they sign and give me permission to do, and I'm capturing the ability to use testimonials for the next group that I'll charge full rate for. So the very first time, I'm purposely doing this at a lower ticket. I create that ticket value, but I sell it for a prepaid at a lower ticket cost. In exchange for it, they're going to help me build a resource. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put them in a shirt maybe or gi pants, and I am going to make sure that they understand that they're not allowed to talk about the programs in the NDA. They're not allowed to talk about the program when people ask, and to say, hey, it's just part of a special program that Mr. Instructor created for us. That's all. We can sign the NDA. We can't talk about it. That's all they're allowed to say. The whole goal is to create kind of like Fight Club mentality, right? We don't talk about Fight Club because they're a test subject, and the whole goal is to create this vision of very exclusive, very almost, it's a semi-private program, very exclusive program, and you have to guarantee the result. You have to make sure that these people are showing up. You're not going to look, when there's only 4 people, it's an accountability within that group. And then you overpromise and overdeliver, and you make sure that you take them through years of information and content, and you give them extra training material. And once you've done it the first time, now you can charge that full rate. And now you're making $20K or more every 4 months. All right. So if you don't have a great adult program, you don't make a lot of revenue from your adult program. This is one of those ways that you already have the mat space, take advantage of some off-season time to make extra revenue. Okay. All right. Last thing, if you guys got questions, you start get ready to lock and load with that. Last thing, second sell. Where is your opportunity for a second sell? All right. So here's one right now. Let's pretend you just closed somebody, and they went from your trial to your core. You just close them down in your core program. It's a 24-month program. And you've already closed them. You're not selling anymore. You're in the close. You've done. They said yes. They signed paperwork. They're paying you money. While they're paying you, hey, Mr. Johnson. Hey, Mrs. Smith. By the way, our best students to launch fast do a few private lessons right at the beginning of the program to help them get further ahead or have a fast jump start for their confidence into this level program since you're moving up to the next course. Hey, we have 4 lessons. They're only $1,200. If we add it on today, it's only $495. Would you like to go and do that today? Do you have something like that? Do you even ask? Or are you worried about money so much? You're like, well, man, they just gave me $600. They're not going to give me another $495. Well, you don't know until you try. And most of the time it's a yes. Okay. Remember, free is awesome, but what beats free is fast, right? I can walk from here to 2 miles down the road to the restaurant for free, or I can book an Uber for $9, okay? And I'll be there without sweating. I mean, it's so human right here, right? So like, I have the ability, I want somebody to jumpstart into the program, right? One of the things that we offer here with Rise is like, if someone needs guaranteed results like fast, because they're like close to, like they're gonna shut their doors down if they can't figure it out, we have a ticket where in 30 days, we guarantee a certain amount of revenue. But guess what, right? There's free and there's fast. And if you want fast, you pay for it. And so sometimes people have the last ditch effort. They're like, hey man, we got to figure something out. Or I got hit with a tax bill, or I need to buy a car. Hey, what can we do? Unless we go all in approach for 30 days or 90 days, depending on how fast they need to make that. Like you need a second sell based on the need. And guess what? Always or never. So you either always ask or you never ask. So you do have the second sell. Some of you guys have the second sell built in. You don't even know it's the second sell. It's called equipment. And to you, it's not a second sell because you think it's mandatory, but it is a second sell. And so it's always or never. So do you have the right value of program with that? And you should always think about every time you close any product, graduations, parents night out event, a tournament, there should be a second sell. What is a second sell for a tournament? Could be a t-shirt. Okay. It could be the next division. It could be the next tournament. Right? You need to stack your programs this way because when people pay, they pay attention. And the more they're paying, the more they're paying attention. And when they pay attention more, it means they're showing up more. They have more result. They become your fans, your fanatical people who build your culture inside your business. So it's sustainable forever. So if you're going to have $1 million program, 250 students, you need 50 of those people who are fanatical about you, who are literally paying for the opportunity for those other 200 people to be there. That's really what you want. And those 50 people, well, they don't become great customers. They don't become just great marketing material. Guess what? They become your best team in the future to build the bigger dream. And so like, if I didn't have a career, if I didn't have a path and I love martial arts, like I'm going to find a way, beg, borrow, steal to get to the upper echelon because that's an opportunity for me to grow, right? I need to be on those elective programs. I need to get the training. And then what happens is it creates opportunity to go help someone build a dream out, which then helps me build my dream. So do you have a trial? Do you have a core? Do you have names for these? Do you have terms for these? Do you know what they are? Then we figure out pricing. And what electives do you need? Do you have private lessons properly? Do you have semi-privates properly? Are you launching this stuff properly? And then revenue will show up once you do all that, okay? All right, camera, you can pause the recording.